I had suicidal thoughts and secret pain. Nobody knew that I really wanted to end it all. Let's talk about it.
Loving me unconditionally.
Hello, my freedom walkers. And this is day 12 in Loving Me Unconditionally, this 30-day challenge that I am taking. And today I want to talk about my suicidal thoughts and the secret pain I carried, and no one really knowing that I really wanted to end it all. Well, I'm not going to lie, this is a hard, sensitive topic for me. I remember the first time I really seriously wanted to end my life. And I remember it being possibly around the 5th grade or so. My stepdad was a hunter. There are a lot of guns in the house, a lot of knives in the house. And they were just open everywhere, and we never thought about using them or whatever, but this time I did. I was probably around 11 years old when I thought about doing this. Like I said, there were plenty of guns. There was a lot of hunting going on, and my mind was just at the place of just not being able to take it anymore. My mother was a spiritual person, and she would have visions, dreams, or whatever the case may be, prophetic or whatever, just like many people I knew. And I remember the conversation, and this is not to say anything in a negative way about my mom. It is not. It's just my story. It's what happened. It's how I feel. And it is what it is. I remember being in my bedroom, laying down, and she came in the room and said, well, the Lord showed me that you're thinking about committing suicide, ending your life. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say yes or no. She said, well, you do it, you're going to hell. And that was it. I didn't want to go to hell, so I didn't do it. But the underlying pain that was so deep didn't go away. The constant bullying, teasing didn't go away. All through elementary, middle school, high school, even basic training, I wanted to end my life again. I was, never forget being on the rifle range, and I was picked on a lot. And I'm sorry for getting a little emotional. I apologize. And I remember it was during the, where you go out and shoot the targets or whatever to see your proficiency. I think you had to get like 36 out of 40 or 30. I can't remember what it was. The minimum was. But I remember there were some bullies in basic training, and they were nonstop, man. It was horrific, you know. I never shared this with anybody, but I wanted to turn that gun around and just shoot myself. Because it was like another thing in my life, new people that I've never met before, and they're treating me the same as everybody else. I was like, I don't deserve to be loved. I don't deserve to live. I don't deserve to even exist. Even during my marriage, my first marriage, female, I just never felt like I can get it right as a black man. I tried so hard, but I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't. It was just not me. And I tried to fit this mold or fit this model and man up, and people may call me a punk or weak or what. I don't care. This is my life and what I went through. And to care anymore about the thoughts and opinions of others would just degrade me as an individual, as a person. And still being married and having gay feelings. I like females, but I like guys too. And I remember before I moved away, and this was probably about 13, 14 years ago, I had suicidal thoughts again. I was going through a harsh, horrible time in my life. And I didn't have anybody to really turn to. The one I did turn to made me feel guilty for doing it, and they said that I was no more good to them. Even all the years of servitude, and it just was just a build-up, right? Just constantly in my life. And I was like, well, I got these gay feelings, suicide. Either way it goes, I'm going to hell anyways, according to you guys, according to what you say the Bible says. So might as well just end it. It doesn't matter. Either way it goes, I'm going to hell. So what's the fucking point? What's the use? It was a lot of self-loathing of not living my goals or my dreams in life and feeling like this complete, utter failure. And this went on through. I'm not talking about just like back home where I came from. I'm talking about even after I moved and transitioned and started doing things on my own. I carried so much hurt and pain from my past that it's still taking years to overcome a lot of things, right? But I muscled on through because I don't want to go to hell. And a lot of the dogma, a lot of the fears was still planted in my mind, in my memory, or whatever the case may be. And I remember one of the darkest time periods or moments in my life. If you hear a plane go by, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on today, but I don't want to edit this part because I'm just in a state of just being right now. So I apologize for the background noise. I remember my darkest period. I was teaching by now. But there was this emptiness. There was this always constant talk in my mind of my past. You're unworthy. You're not good enough. You can't get your shit together, blah, blah. I was working on this business and it just wasn't, I could never get past this barrier or wall in my life. And I remember laying one night on the floor by myself in the corner just crying. I'm talking about crying hard. I'm talking about snots and crying. I'm talking about Viola Davis crying. If you know that actor. And I remember laying on the floor and I had my phone and I was just instinctively calling the suicide hotline. and I was calling, I was hanging up, I was calling, I was like, fuck it, it's no use, or whatever the case may be. They're gonna put me in a mental institution. I don't care. I wanted to check myself into a facility because I felt unsafe around me, because I knew that there was nothing left to do but to end it all. I knew that that's what my mindset was, and there was no shaking it. There was no getting out of it. And right below the suicidal thoughts was local therapist. Go see a therapist or whatever. And I flipped through a little bit, and the one that came up resonated with me. And I was like, oh my gosh. This is like a black male. Okay. And he hits issues for the LGBTQ community. And I'm tired of hating myself for being gay. And I made a decision. I said, I told myself, I was like, I'll give it one more shot. I'll give this a shot. And it was, man, it was the best decision I had made for my life. I was untrusting at first a lot, because it was like, this is another black man. And I had issues with being around black men, because it felt like that everyone that I trusted or looked up to, in the end, kind of just threw me away. Okay? That therapy changed my life. I recommend therapy. I recommend somebody you can talk to just in a judgment-free zone or environment where you could just be yourself. You can let down your guards. And it took me a while to let down my guards, but it gave me something to hope or hold on to. It made me feel like I was actually started the journey of becoming. That I could see a little glimmer of light at the end of this madness in my mind, right? One of the first things that I said to him, I was like, man, people are like, am I schizophrenic? Am I bipolar? Any of these, it's like, that's just some terms that is not you. You are just dealing with trauma. A lot of built up trauma that's never been dealt with. The suicidal thoughts and everything, why I was having them is because I felt extremely alone around a lot of people, but it was like I'm the only one going through what I'm going through. And I'm finding out today that I'm not alone, that there are like thousands, millions of gay, black, Hispanic, you name it, men who grew up in the church around religion and felt self-worth or wanted to end their lives or felt like that they weren't good enough. A lot, right? So I felt alone. I felt pathetic. I felt like a lost cause. Depressed, stagnant, hopeless. Oh my gosh. Judgment as well. Judgment about feeling this way. So I kept it secret to not disappoint. I felt tired of trying to move forward and getting nowhere in life. I felt like I felt trapped. I felt like there was this wall that every time I got to this wall or this breaking point, I just couldn't break through, and I didn't have the strength or the capacity or the courage. I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of fear of failure, but I had a lot of fear of success. that it would make me a different way, that people no longer like me, that I had to leave the group of people that I was with, that it was like the fear of the unknown. Fear of success, that is crazy, right? But it was like the fear of the unknown that comes with success. I would start like thinking about, oh man, if I'm successful, that means I got this to worry about, that to worry about. Like all this bullshit, right? Because I didn't feel worthy enough. I never felt like that I could actually be a success in life. And success, I realized, was not my success, but it was contingent on how other people viewed, or society viewed success should be. So I gauge my success or my happiness on the thoughts and opinions of other people. And that just makes things worse. It makes you want to feel like that there's no hope for you. But you know what? I realized I needed to change my environment. I needed to change my environment completely. And I also needed to change how I felt about myself on the inside. So I need to do both things at the same time, right? I think I shared this in another video. I needed to figure out how to tell myself, or tell me, that I love me. So then the journey began. So the question is, how am I healing today from suicidal thoughts and self-loathing? Well, it's a continual journey of healing. There's been some times of bouts or fights with depression. I continually, day by day, wipe that slate clear of guilt and shame by giving myself permission to live. I become an observer of my feelings and not become engulfed in my challenges or engulfed in my feelings or my emotions. Sometimes I could be somewhere and I'm like, oh shoot, why am I feeling this way right now? Why all of a sudden I feel heaviness or depression? And then I was like, oh man, that person right there reminds me of the person that did so and so and so to me when I was in the 5th grade or when I was in 1st grade. I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm having these emotional reactions or feelings to this. I was like, hold on. Now that you know what the problem is or what the challenge is, first thing, Jay, you are not your past. It happened and you are still becoming, you're still healing, and it's okay to have that feeling, but let it just be a feeling. Don't let it become the I am in your life. Like I am unworthy, I am depressed. Don't let it become that in your life. Jay, let it fuel you and have gratitude. It's like, oh man, I'm so strong. I am such a success. I am such an overcomer because that thing did not destroy or take me out. And it has less power over my life now. I stay away from negativity. I rarely watch the news, or there's a lot of even reality shows I don't like to see, where it's a lot of yelling and fussing and fighting. And I like to watch upbeat stuff. I like to watch my sci-fi. I love sci-fi, man. Lord of the Rings, baby. The therapist who understands my struggle. Real quick, find the right therapist. My first 2 therapists, and I have it has nothing to do with race or gender or any of that, but my first 2 that I try to seek out were like 2 white women, older. And when I would tell them the things I went, they were like, oh no, oh my gosh, oh. And I was like, for real? And I was like, oh my gosh, they've never talked to anybody who's going through being a black gay male issues growing up in the South in the church and being rejected and blah, blah, blah. They've never gone, oh my gosh, this is not going to work. Because it's like I got to bring them up to speed. But when I found the other one who went through similar things or understood issues in the LGBTQ community, he was black, PK, preacher kid, who understood, it was different. When I started talking, he said, yep, yep. And we just had this bond, and I was able to open up more. I was like, finally, somebody gets it. Social media too. Social media can be a big negative depression trap, because you can get reeled into these videos about this negative thing happening, or it could just be a dopamine like rush, like a drug, right? And I've even deleted some social media platforms when I was like, oh man, and I found myself mindlessly scrolling, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I can't stop. Like, let me get rid of this app for a little while. I give myself energy or place my energy toward things that will build me up and help me and not tear me down. So if I want to start a YouTube channel, hey, let me watch videos of other people who are successful doing it. I want to one day have a house in the Caribbean. Let me look at these realtor channels that talk about these different places in the Caribbean, you know. Let me be in the mode or mindset of becoming, right? Even in my darkest thoughts, I was still worthy of light. Yeah. Even in the silence, I was still heard. Even in the pain, there was still a part of me fighting to live. I wouldn't have called or tried to call the suicide hotline if there wasn't something deep inside me that still wanted to live. And if you find yourself in any kind of, in this dark place in your life, suicidal thoughts, reach out immediately. Call the suicide hotline. Talk to somebody immediately, like right now. Like, even if you're watching the video, you're thinking about it. Call that number. Call the 1-800 number. Talk to somebody. Find a therapist. You are worthy of love. You are worthy to live. I don't care how dark, how bad the situation may look in your life. I'm telling you from experience, because I felt like there was no other choice. I felt that my life was so dark that there was no other option. I'm telling you that you are, I don't care what your family may say. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care if you feel all alone, right? You are not alone. Call the number, find help, fight. Fight for your life. You have so much to give to yourself and to the world. You've got this. I'm telling you from experience, you can do it. If you take a moment, breathe in, breathe out. So breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth, and repeat after me. I give myself permission to live. You have the power to do it, not just survive. So let's say it again. I give myself permission to live, and not just to survive. Yeah. But truly live in my truth, my beauty, and my light. You can live in your truth. You can live in your beauty. And you can live in your light. And if no one has told me or told you today that you're needed, that you belong, look, you're still here. And that is powerful. You're still here. That's powerful. I'm still here. That's powerful. That means that there's fight still left in you, still left in us. And we have the power to change our trajectory, our path in life. We can love ourselves unconditionally. So if you like this, like it, subscribe. This is J Love. I truly, truly, truly love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Each day, just take it a step at a time and say, I am becoming. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I am becoming. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. This is J Love with Loving Me Unconditionally. Have a great and wonderful day.
Loving me unconditionally, loving me unconditionally. Through the fire, through the storm, I found the truth inside of me. Loving me unconditionally, loving me unconditionally. No more shame, no more fear, I'm exactly who I'm meant to be.